Hello everyone, it's Dmitry, and today we will discuss the proper positioning of the knife during the sharpening, because one of the tasks we are trying to solve during the sharpening process is the achievement of symmetrical bevel along the whole cutting edge, which width can be affected by the thickness behind the edge and the shape of the blade. How to keep it straight, how to keep it symmetrical, let's find out. Mass-produced knives are normally sharpened with a grinder. It's easy to notice because the grinder does not provide you the symmetrical bevel and the same edge of sharpening on both sides of the blade. Once you put this knife into a professional sharpening system and set the angle, you'll notice that the abrasive stone starts to process the cutting edge on one side, but on another side, well, you'll normally see that it grinds the top border of the bevel, which means that this knife should be resharpened. We need to have a firm grip on this knife, so during the sharpening process it won't go anywhere. The easiest way to clamp it reliably is to find a flat section on the blade and to put it into the clamps. We don't need a lot of surface, sometimes 1 or 2 square millimeters are enough to hold it steadily inside the clamps. And now you may see that we are ready to go. But there are cases when there is no flat section on the blade, and there are other ways how to solve this task. When knives has bevels that go straight from the spine to the very cutting edge and we are unable to clamp it with standard clamps, we recommend to use single or double spring clamps that will help you to get a firm grip on this knife. As you may see, spring clamps have two different types of screws. One is in charge of gripping the knife and pulling the clamps together, and another one helps to incline the surface of the clamps and align it with the surface of the main bevel of the knife. Those clamps will help you to work with knives that are not thicker than 3.5 millimeters. When we have a knife with spine that is more than 3.5 millimeters, we would recommend to use several layers of masking tape to create an additional support for your clamps. By using it, we are able to hold the knife using two surfaces of support, one on the spine and another one on these masking tape. The trick is to count the layers of the masking tape, because otherwise you will have the inclination on one side more than on the other. A constant sharpening angle ensures uniform bevel only on the straight section of the knife. This also works perfect for worn clips. In section where the blade has a curve, the angle of sharpening begins to change. Along with this, the thickness behind the edge also changes. If the knife is straight, then it must be positioned parallel to the frame that holds the clamps. In the center or on the side doesn't matter here, since the angle is maintained along the entire length of the straight section. In order to see the change in the width of the bevel at the initial stages of sharpening, a marker will help you. Use it whenever you have it. Mark the bevel and then move the abrasive stone along the bevel to see how its trace changes. It will be either narrowing or expanding closer to the tip, because we have this curve and thereby the change of the angle of sharpening. If the bevel is expanding, we need to move the knife closer to the center of the frame and thereby narrow the bevel during the sharpening. If the bevel is narrowing, we are moving in reverse and move the tip of the knife away from the center of rotation of the frame. If the knife has a complex shape or it has a belly, just like here, all we have to do to position it properly is to make a straight line between the heel and the tip and position this line parallel to the frame that holds the clamps. Then we are ready to sharpen, because the bevel will be symmetrical and wouldn't change the width. For small knives, we can position clamps together on one side of the frame or use a single spring clamp from TSPROF. When we work with coarse and extra coarse abrasives, it's very important to visually control the width of the bevel on both sides, thereby maintaining symmetry. As you may see now, on one side we have a bevel that is slightly wider than on the other side, which means that to make it symmetrical, I'll have to work a bit longer on the side where the bevel is more narrow. There are some cases when we work with folders and the thumb stud might be in a way of the abrasive stone. The easiest way is simply to remove it or disassemble the knife. But there are two simple life hacks that will allow you to get to the heel without any disassembling. First one, we may position the knife on one side of the frame that holds the clamps with the tip towards the center of rotation of the frame. And the second life hack, we can turn the knife within the clamps, and this will allow us to get this obstacle away from the path of the abrasive stone. With kitchen knives, everything is very simple because we position them parallel to the frame, and that is enough to get a homogeneous bevel along the whole cutting edge. But if you are sharpening the fillet knife, you can combine your clamps with fillet clamps to get the additional support points. As for American Tanto, it's very easy to sharpen it because we have the plain section of the cutting edge parallel to the frame that holds the clamps. We position the tip of the knife closer to the center of rotation of the frame. First, we sharpen the plain section, then we use the marker and trying to catch the proper angle to make the width of the bevel on this part and this part of the knife the same. And that's practically all about proper positioning of your knives during the sharpening process. If you have any questions left, please share them in your comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, this will help us a lot, and I guess I'll see you next time.
Oh.